So the vortexes of energy are now associated with tangible people, objects, animals, and each, for instance, pose that we do, peacock, Mayurasana, Pincha Mayurasana, crow pose, it's because they look like those animals, and those animals have an energy or a quality associated. Now, Siddhartha Gautama was a Hindu prince. You've heard of the Buddha, right? So he gave up all of his worldly pleasures, went outside, but he was Hindu. Buddhism evolved out of his sitting under the tree, which is still there. It's a banyan tree, actually, and there's a whole ashram built around Dharamsala in India. But yeah, he sat there, and it was from his insight of sitting there for days, reflecting in meditation. How did he meditate? Well, he had to go through kriyas from Hinduism, right? So when because he's not just like sitting there and making it up as he's going along, he was Hindu. He was a practicing devout Hindu. Now, because of his status, because back in those days, Brahmins, M-I-N, were the high caste priests. Knowledge and wisdom was only given to the priests. And they taught princes, queens, queendoms, royalty. You had to be from a certain caste in order to receive this knowledge and wisdom. So because he was of a high caste, he was able to receive the scholarship of knowing the Vedas, the Tantras, the Kriyas. So he tapped into the same Kriyas that we practice, Saham, to open up and transcend. And it was from there that he developed the Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths, which are Buddhist scholarship. The Buddhist concepts of the Eightfold Path is no different. It's the same thing as the Eight Limbs of Yoga, Patanjali, the sage who wrote these sutras that are often mentioned in yoga classes, in asana classes. When we reject other forms of scholarship without knowing where it actually comes from, the Eightfold Path is no different from the Eight Limbs of Yoga. The same thing, just translated in a different way. Making sense a little bit more? The Buddhists have their own format, which is similar to Hinduism. So now you have this branch that's coming out. So you have Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, Buddhism. Now Buddhism goes over here, if you were to take a tree or see the bamboo twisting over here. And with that, they also took Sanskrit teachings because it all comes back from where? The original language, which is the most ancient language, which is also considered the highest vibrational language. So when we don't respectfully chant or take the time to pause with these powerful vibrations, each syllable in Sanskrit opens up a different vortex of energy. Now in yoga, we focus a lot just because asana is what is associated with yoga, right? Which is only 12% of yoga, the entire practice of yoga. Because on the mat, we primarily focus on the 7 chakras. When you hear certain chants, it's not just those chakras that are being stimulated. For instance, when we were doing the regrounding yesterday, after I closed out everybody in a short meditation, I was going through certain chakras, but I did more than 7, right? So for instance, the thymus gland, there's a subchakra here. This is the 8th chakra. Why is this the 8th chakra? Because without your thymus gland, most people are like, oh, the heart, the brain, the thymus. Without your thymus gland, that's your entire immune system. So when you chant Ram, 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 Ramaya Namaha, Ram is the vortex of energy associated with also creation, different denomination of creation. So opening up this gland, when you say Ram, stimulates Ram, which is the Manipura chakra, is the vortex of energy with willpower, confidence. So you're opening up Ramaya through Ram, for your willpower to have a strong, healthy immune system. So does that make sense? So when we start to now take chanting, and this is why kirtan is so beautiful, when people are only focused on just the mat, or I need to get my twist in my butt, I'm not flowing, my headstand. And I say that because it's interesting to watch. Only focus on one aspect, and that's all they know, through no fault of their own, because that is also taught, right? We're conditioned to think that this is the end all be all, and to put all of my focus into scorpion. You know how hard it is to develop scorpion. Yes, it takes willpower, it takes discipline, it takes focus, but you're still only putting all of your energy in one aspect. That's 12%, right? So when we now start to take kirtan is sound, it's music, it's dance, it's art, right? When we take singing and mantra and all of that, a modern twist, still taking the sacredness of the sound. So Om Mani Padme Hum is going to have different resonances in different vortexes. Now you have over 300 subchakras in the body. So if you feel it in different places, and this is where, for instance, why in the movement, in my movement, I'll say move the elbow. Just get funky and weird. The kneecap, let that right toe, it's going beyond just the 7 chakras. It's going into those sub chakras, those nadis, those energy points, right? That distribute from the sacrum, that hum, sa, hum. So it's that same vibration, sa, the sound of pure intelligence. Hum, H-U-M, transformation. Om Mani Padme Hum. It's the same word. It's transferring all of that energy. Om, one consciousness. Mane, mind. Manas comes from the mind. Padme, lotus, blooming, transformation. Om. So from pure, to translate it, from pure consciousness, I transcend my mind like a lotus blooming to transform. All of it starts to make sense. And that's where the process is lifelong. It's lifelong. Just get better at understanding what we need on each given day. It's just adding more tools to the toolbox. Now, here's the thing. Once one toolbox is full, there are several other toolboxes. Hope that that makes sense of where, first of all, what that mantra is, where it comes from, where it originated from. Because Om Mani Padme Hum, you won't find it chanted in a yoga, loosely quoted, yoga, traditional yoga class, whether it's my class, a Jivamukti class, Ashtanga, Anuswara, we don't chant it because it's Buddhist. You may have a fusion teacher with the knowledge, but nowadays, most people are repetitive. It takes scholarship and it takes a zeal to, you have to have a passion for going beyond what is just taught and then translating it into your own. It was very comforting for me to see my professor head nod of taking the translation and going, yeah, it's like the internet. You are downloading the universe. And we spoke this morning to have that validity from Dr. Chillis, who I've known for 22 years, going, yeah, you are doing a really good job of translating all of the sacred material into modern day. But you have to have a zeal for it. Otherwise, if I were to just teach, for instance, Kriya Yoga or Ishta, and I know all of this because I've studied all of it, then it would just be like, inhale sa, exhale hum, inhale the arms. It just becomes repeat. You are the one that is responsible for going from darkness to light, but we need guides. And that's what a guru is, someone that can guide you. So a lot of times teachers or masters are given these titles or take them on upon themselves, but haven't worked through their own karma. So that inadvertently starts to come out on their students. And that is absolutely not the path of what we do. Looking to learn philosophy and to understand what's happening in the body and to learn proper alignment, like go back to the basics, right? With all of this profound, there is the other aspect, which is profound humility. And unfortunately, there are few people that have, and same thing with Dr. Prentice yesterday, so humble. Right? If you actually knew who this person was in intellectual scholarship, the ego that my teachers could have, but there are few people that really resonate at such talent, such intellect, such capacity. But to match it, you need so much reverence and so much humility, and that really comes from doing deep work on yourself. Now, underneath that, there are many people that are knowledgeable, wise, have this like plethora, but they haven't done the work, so they have a lot of ego. Let's do a heart opener. We've done this one before. Block is going to go in between the shoulder blades, right? So the reason why I'm showing it this way is because you want it at this height there. So the top of the block wants to be at the base of the bra, and then supporting the back of the head. And then keeping the feet on the ground. Just letting your feet press down. You can feel free to close the eyes if you'd like. Put the arms fall to the side. Now draw your awareness to the breath. I want you to pay particular attention to the ribs, to the side ribs, to the lower ribs. And as you breathe, as you inhale, watching from the inside, this movement, this expansion of skin, of muscle, of ligaments. Watch how as you inhale, everything seems to move away from each other. Never gets too far, right? And then it comes right back. When we watch the breath from the inside like this, it seems like it's almost as if there's the conductor. Using now the visual of, if you've ever seen a conductor in front of a symphony or orchestra, there's an elegance of how the tempo is kept. So like a conductor raising the wand, the indicator up, watch now the rhythm and the cadence of the breath. You have any type of musical background or cadence, you can notice if it's a 2/4, a waltz, a 4/4. And if you have no idea about time signatures, don't worry about it. Letting the breath just feel like this delicious gift that it is. There is such a wonder and yumminess of enjoying a yawn, right? When we stretch the yawn, we stretch our bodies, the mouth opens. Maybe you might even feel like yawning right now. Go ahead and imitate a yawn. Let it feel so yummy across the body, the jaw, the arms, the shoulders. And then start to visualize right at the top of your midbrain, softening, connection. It's if you could dissolve the very top fontanelle. Just feel light. Feel warm light pouring into your scalp, moving through your spine to right in front of your sacrum. As you breathe in, connecting to the unbound matrix of intelligence governing all forces. Stop. Sound of pure intelligence. As you breathe out, feel your sacrum distributing through 72,000 energy points. It's light. It's inspiration. The sound of transformation. Breathing in, connecting to that which is unbound. Limitless, pure genius intelligence. Breathing out, feeling it merge with you. Every single cell of your body. Joints becoming spacious. Start to move the arms up overhead, maybe even keeping the fingertips on the ground. Stretch the breath here as you connect to the Sa Hum Kriya. Feel Sa move down the spine. And on your exhale, float the hands along by your hips. Hum. Distribution of this intelligence. Taking two more like this on your own. Inhale, float the arms up overhead. Stretch breath, stretch face. The sound of that intelligence. Breathing out, hum, float the arms without rushing. Just connecting to this inner symphony that's happening inside of you. Moving like this on your own. You might even visualize an orchestra. The strings don't necessarily play at the same time or the tempo as the flute, as the woodwinds. Percussion may come in differently. Same with the physical body. They all come back to one conductor, which is the breath in this case. Sa on the inhale, hum on the exhale. The next time you float your arms up overhead, pause for a moment. Hold on to the elbows, the forearms, wherever your palms can manage without going past your edge. And then let your pelvis be heavy. And so feeling the shoulders, the shoulder blades, feeling the pelvis heavy. Then switch the crossing of the hands, holding onto the wrists, the forearms, the elbows. Letting the pelvis again be heavy. Just letting the breath be the guide here. And taking your time, bring the left hand over the heart, the right hand to the belly. Just offering up on this Monday, which comes from Moon Day, which is a lunar day, helping us to be, not do, but be. It's offering up a sign of gratitude. For one thing, person, place, even a feeling. We'll chant the mantra Om, unifying sound of all sounds. Deep breath to inhale. Bringing your body attuned to this vibration. Keep your eyes closed. Float your hands underneath your knees. Keep your feet pressing down, and then draw your chin to your chest as you slowly roll yourself up, crossing right ankle in front of left. So we'll move on the breath here. Just easy seat, we call it Sukhasana, Sukha meaning ease. Take your chest forward on the inhale. On the exhale, sit back onto your sit bones around the spine. Moving forward on your inhale, feel the chest open, breath moving you. Feel free to move according to the cadence, that inner conductor, that symphony. Guiding and letting you be guided. Taking a few spinal waves here. So the spine is the gateway, that super cosmic highway, that road. Not just in yoga, not just in meditation, not just in consciousness, but also in science. Right? Without our spine, our spinal cord, that brings knowledge and wisdom, the brain transmutes information via the spinal cord, and it goes straight through to the sacrum. So on a science level, our spine is this entire intelligence system that not only brings intelligence, but governs through the nadis, through the sacrum, all of this intelligence. Next time you come to a seated pose, pause for a moment, switch the crossing of your ankles, without rushing, switching one leg in front of the other. And then this time, instead of going forward and back, we're going to start to circulate the spine. So letting the chest move forward, side to the left, round to the back. You can hold onto your knees or bring your hands to the side. If you need to peek up at me, you can. Almost as if you are sitting in a big bowl or pot of something, and your spine is the spoon. Right? So scraping the edges and allowing yourself to play. Right? So maybe you're sitting in a big vat of chocolate. We do all kinds of funny things with little babies, but then we become so serious as we get older. Where can you let yourself envision maybe sitting in a pot of paint without getting too serious about if it's getting on your clothes, it's getting on your body? And then go ahead and circle your spine the opposite way. So if you haven't already changed directions, let your body now go to the right, ribs to the right, to the back, to the left, chest moving forward. Spinal curves and waves are also part of a different somatic practice, but all of these practices all lead back to the fact that the spine is the gateway. So we're opening up and moving the spine in 6 different ways to get all of this intelligence, all of this incredible yumminess that we experienced yesterday into any other crevices that maybe didn't quite receive it. And then come back to a comfortable seat, no rush at all. You're gonna open up the side body. So planting the right fingers over to the right side, take the left arm long by your ear. Big stretch here, let your pelvis and butt cheeks be heavy. So notice if that left side butt cheek, left sit bone's coming up. Let your body be planted. And then take this left arm long behind your head. So take the hand behind your head. We're gonna open up, so spiraling the heart up to the ceiling. You might feel something happening here on the left side armpit, the left intercostal muscle. I want you to use the Saham Kriya to massage anywhere that's feeling tight, restricted, compressed. And visualize expansion going into any place right now that's feeling like it needs a little bit more lubrication, a little bit more yumminess. And very slowly start to come back up. No rush at all. Take a moment and then pause. And so let that left hand float down by your side. You might even feel a warmth running down the left side of your body. We take the moments to pause. It's like swallowing after chewing, right? If we didn't pause to swallow what we had, then we wouldn't digest properly. And it's no different than pausing to receive what's just unlocked in the body. Fine-tuning our intelligence, fine-tuning our awareness. And then take your left side fingers, prop up onto the left side fingers. You can even plant the palm down depending on how your body is feeling today. And then float that right arm long by the ear. Again, paying particular attention to if that right side sit bone, right side butt cheek wants to hike up. Don't worry about how far you get. Focus now on if the jaw, if the neck, if the shoulder's coming up to the ear. When we hear the term steadiness and ease in asana, sthiram and sukha, we want to experience being able to fully breathe and find the sweetness in each posture, even if it's a difficult posture. Right? So when a challenge comes up, if it's a bind, if it's, you know, a balancing posture, headstand and inversion, where can we find that steadiness and sweetness in each pose? Finding it in this posture, keeping the spine long. Now bring the right hand behind the head if it's not already there, and then spiral from the heart. So we're opening up. You might feel a lengthening across the right side shoulder, right side deltoid, front of the pectorals, the intercostal muscles, armpits. Then keep the pelvis heavy here. Where can it feel like oh my goodness, I can just bathe and luxuriate? That's what we want to feel in the asana practice, in every single posture. It's loving yourself. That's the beauty of tantra. It's loving yourself into every aspect, not pushing yourself. And then very slowly come back up. Let that right hand float down to the right side. Just take a moment and pause. Digest it, swallow it, let it resonate. I'm feeling called to do a hip opener with you today, especially based on yesterday, just to clear out anything that's coming up. So let's go ahead and take that left leg in front, cross your right ankle over the top. So we're coming to this number 4 posture. Fingertips are going to prop up to the side, just as if you're standing. So you are going to hear me also, and I'm going to say it a lot this week, every pose is Tadasana and Shavasana. What that actually means is every pose in Tadasana, feeling the feet flexed, receiving. So it's not just haphazard, feeling steady in your Tadasana. And every pose is also Shavasana, because Shavasana is luxurious, right? So we want to feel that steadiness and ease. So go ahead now, take that right arm, not on the knee, but on the upper part of your right thigh. Keep this left foot flexed. Now lean forward here. You can give yourself as much pressure as you need. This is one way to get into this pose. Now, depending on where your hips are today, you could also let gravity, or you can feel there's a magnet on the outside of that right knee and then start to hinge forward. Again, not breaking at the spine, keeping the spine long, but letting your body be heavy. And then the third option would be to take double stacked. And again, this is only if the hips feel super open and the shin bones stack like firelocks. It's actually called firelock pose or double pigeon. Don't always recommend this unless your hips are naturally open. So this would be an extreme variation of this pose. Let yourself, whichever variation you're in, find that sthiram and sukha, that steadiness and sweetness. Where can you stay in this posture forever? Right? Now, getting back to some yoga philosophy, BKS Iyengar once said, and you should be able to hold any pose for 32 minutes. Now, what he meant by that, my very first certification, quote unquote, certification for yoga. And I say that because in order to teach yoga, you must have these accredited certifications, but not every person that has an accredited certification is necessarily a yoga teacher. And I'm sharing this with you as you deepen your practice and go more towards the philosophical. What he meant by this is using the props, right? So if you feel, for instance, like you need a block underneath that right side butt cheek, a block underneath your, or a pillow, a blanket, something underneath you so that you can enjoy the benefits of the posture, then that is exactly what you need to do. BKS Iyengar, one of the 4 founding fathers of what we now study in the West as yoga, is credited with bringing props into the yoga practice. So much of the postures that we take and are using props come from this ideology of making sure that the physical body is supported to allow itself the capacity to slowly expand. And if you ever have the opportunity to take an Iyengar class in India, they are usually several hours long, and it's because you are in these postures for 20 to 32 minutes. Taking your time very slowly, start to roll back up 1 vertebrae at a time. Just pausing. And we're going to uncross. If you're crossed, I can't see you from there. Cross that right foot now over to the left side. Keep flexing your left foot. Hug your right knee into your chest. Now, I like to do this squared because this gives us a different feeling, right? When we twist, it's to open the back. But when you hug the knee to the chest and either lean forward or back, you're going to feel that sensation running down the gluteus medius. And if you have sciatica or any type of tension from sitting, this is a really great way to release that nerve, that piriformis nerve that causes sciatica. Just taking a few moments here to breathe into what's happening with the gluteus medius. Then take your time, keeping this left foot flexed, slide with your left palm facing your face. So this is a very sacred gesture, keeping the energy in. So we keep the fingertips together. The palm faces you because it's a sacred pose. And then slide your elbow outside of that right knee. Now I'm going to teach you today a really different way to get into this. Press the palm down to the ground. Yep, and you're going to use the leverage of your tricep to squeeze the outside of that right side knee towards your chest. Notice if this right butt cheek is hiking up. So keeping it down, slide that right arm behind you. Now from here, start to slowly take a twist over to the right side. And where can you maintain full breath? There is the option to bind, but it isn't always necessary. Right? So if you have the capacity, for instance, to bind, and I'll show you, I have the capacity to bind, but the bind actually doesn't give me more range in my body just because I can take the bind. I absolutely feel more leverage in opening up with my organs when my palms are pressed down. When we use the leverage of the tricep to the thigh bone, we allow ourselves to create more space, more opening. One more breath here, using that hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, transformation. Let this kriya, this intelligence now transform into the opening of the left side of the body. When we're unraveling the spine, because it's directly correlated to so many nerves, we want to move slowly. So very slowly now, uncrossing that left arm, unwind your body back to center, and then maybe take a little counter pose over to the left side. And come back to center, let that right leg meet the left. Just pause for a moment. Let your fingertips reach out to the side next to you, Dandasana, staff pose. just scan. Okay? Getting highly attuned and in tune allows us to go from being 3D to 5D. We have a lot of that talk happening in the world, and we have people throwing these terms around but not necessarily living it. So it's a cultivation from the inside. Let your higher self connect to that 5D and see if you can feel what's happening down that left side of the body. Now we're going to switch sides. So crossing that left ankle over the top of the right foot, right side thigh, take your time. And then very slowly start to hinge forward here. And just pause for a moment, just keeping that connection with the spine. Keep flexing the right foot, so bringing the toes back towards you, flexing the left foot. Maybe you need a pillow or a bolster underneath this left side knee. Just letting gravity open up that left side hip bone, left butt cheek. You're choosing to take double pigeon, again, only if it's serving you and if the hips feel open. This is absolutely not something I recommend to anyone unless you have a dance background, you are, you've given birth and your hips are really open, because it's not necessary. So allowing ourselves to become these navigators, these explorers, gives us agency over what is really serving my highest good in this moment. And that's a mantra that you can absolutely use for yourself on and off the mat. What is serving my highest good in this moment? You can even use it in regards to having that second slice of pizza, right? What is serving my highest good in this moment? If something is going to make you feel awful afterwards, then we have the answer. And it's just really allowing ourselves to love ourselves. To truly be successful means to offer full wellness into our lives. Right? People that are successful allow themselves to love completely. With their needs, what do they need? Finding where you can find the juiciness, the sweetness, the steadiness in this posture. Take a deep breath to inhale. And a smooth breath to exhale. And then very slowly start to walk yourself back up. And we'll plant that left foot now over to the right side. Just pausing. And go ahead and hug that left knee in, just sitting up nice and tall. And the taller we get with our spine, the closer you can draw that left inner thigh towards your chest. This side might feel very different for you. This side might feel like it's more open. Feel like it's giving you a little bit more feedback. Take your time. And then moving very slowly here and unwinding the spine. Slide that left palm behind you. And then take the right palm, fingers close in towards one another to contain the energy. Palm faces your face. Maybe you slide that elbow outside. So right elbow outside of the left side thigh bone. Notice if the left inner thigh is moving away from you. And then plant that right palm down. So you have steadiness now with the arms. And then revolve yourself, opening up the the spine. You might feel this in the lower back. So I like to take this posture with the right leg extended, the left foot crossed over the thigh, because it gives us more agency and takes the sits bones out of the way. And again, with every breath, grow the spine long on the inhale. Sa, the sound of pure intelligence, pure genius. Hum. Feeling it distribute, transforming every cell, from the inside out. Taking one more breath here. Notice where you can find sweetness in the breath, on the right side of the organs opening up. And very slowly, let your spine readjust. Coming back to center, pausing, and taking a little counter twist over to that right side. Back to center, uncross the legs. I'm going to take you today into one more hip opener. And this one is going to need your blanket. Okay, so making sure your blanket is handy. This is a really deep one. So how we're going to start for this one is to double your blanket, and it goes underneath your knees. Knees are going to go underneath your hips, and from here, you're going to come to your forearms. So the booty might stick up. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in the side. Don't want your butt up in the air, right? So this might be you. This is usually what tends to happen, right? The back is arched. I want you to scoop the belly in. So this depends on where you feel comfortable. Now, this isn't the goal, but this is what's comfortable for me because my hips are open. What also tends to help is to open your feet so the ankles are underneath your knees. So you're in this froggy position. And if you need to place or fold your mat and have to place it underneath your knees, you absolutely can. This is a really great hip opener. Several of my colleagues who their specialties are handstands or scorpion inversions, stuff like that, they also have a hard time with their hips. So a lot of times we can look at one person's facility and think that that's the end all be all, but where someone's back, for instance, is extremely flexible, someone else's hips may not be. Where someone's hips are flexible, maybe their back or shoulders aren't. So just letting this posture open up the sacrum and the hips for your facility. Scan your body now and just notice if you're over efforting anywhere. So if the shoulders are coming up to the ears, if you're pushing down in the arms and holding yourself up, maybe placing the blocks underneath the arms, or giving yourself a little bit of a forehead, elevating the forehead with a block, for instance, also helps take the pressure out of the head and the neck. So you can place a block at whichever height is going to serve you. I'm just staying for a few moments here. Generally takes a few moments for the hips, a few minutes for the body to start to open up. Letting yourself explore with the breath. We often forget that our entire body is a magnetic field. And where we direct our energetic thoughts, we are either putting positive or negative electrons, ions, which magnetize, right? So if you're, for instance, thinking in a posture, I hate this, I can't stand this sucks, right? Then we're putting more of that charge into that area of the body. Tantra teaches us that when we love ourselves, okay, this is a challenging pose for me, but I can breathe fully and love this pose if I take it up a notch, if I place a block underneath me, if I use the props. Then we're able to shift the energy to positive, right? And then you're accessing and vibrating at a really, really super high frequency to bring more of what you want in your life. Taking your time now, very slowly start to walk yourself back up. Just letting your body adjust. So it's a tough one. We're going to take mermaid pose today. So go ahead and now sit over onto your left sit bones just to realign the spine. Hook that left foot over the right ankle, up onto the right side fingertips. Very similar to what we did this opening up. Take that left arm long by the ear. Keep the fingertips long. Use that Saham Kriya to open up the side body. Your time, very slowly float that left hand down. Come up onto the knees and switch sides. So hooking the right foot now over to the left ankle, prop up onto the fingertips. Reach that right arm long by the ear. And taking your time, use the kriya here. And very slowly start to draw that right hand down to the earth. Swing your legs around. And just coming to Baddha Konasana, letting the hips open. One more time, soles of the feet together. We're going to take the heels a little further away from you so it's not quite as a deep hip opener. And make sure your blocks are handy. We're going into, so we use Baddha Konasana, meaning bound angle, but we take the feet away from the midline of the body and use a block under the head on top of the feet. And then we call this pose, this shape, Tadasana. So if you need to prop up on two blocks like I'm doing, you can. And then we just let the forehead here feel supported, the jaw is relaxed, head and neck easeful. It should feel really yummy on the hips, on the back of the neck. This should feel like it's zero effort for this pose. It's just a really yummy way of breathing into the space. And very slowly Let your head be the last part to roll up. Just take a moment here as your head comes back onto your shoulders and neck. I'm going to give you the option to either take a prone face shavasana on your belly. That means laying on your pillows, letting the head be supported, or to take shavasana on your back. Just scan your body in this seated posture for a moment. Just notice what's coming up, right? So a lot of times we're so ready to, oh, we hear something, oh, that sounds good. But when we pause, we become really attuned with the orchestra of what's happening, the conductor being the breath. What we may need may not necessarily be what we think we need. The beauty of the tantric practice is to get the head out of the way. So what we truly need gets to do what it needs to. And whenever that answer comes to you, you can start to set yourself up. Tantra in the West has often been sexualized as this excessive, I don't really know, like, it's just not the idea of what Tantra is in the West is not what real tantric yoga is. And when we allow ourselves to enjoy, there is pleasure in every moment of our lives. Right? When we allow ourselves to deeply enjoy the pleasure of shavasana, then we can find the pleasure of this experience in shavasana, in every single pose, in an inversion, in a standing one-legged balance, in a back bend. That is the true beauty of experiencing pleasure, every aspect. Letting yourself now relax the eyes and eyebrows, relax the forehead, relax the nose and nostrils. Softening your jaw. Relaxing your neck and shoulders. Feeling the back body, the back gate of the ribs. And that sink deeper into the earth. Feeling the belly soften. And tuning back to the breath. This is how the low ribs expand. Can you come back to that moment when the blocks were supporting the spine and back? Can you tap into that feeling? Low ribs. You feel the hips and pelvis soften. Backs of the thighs, the fronts of the thighs. Let your knees and kneecaps at ease. Calves and shin bones. Ankle bones. Directing hum. Heel. Soles. Toes. Charging and transforming. Toenails. Soft. Inhale. Exhale. Om Bur. Om Bhuva. Om Svaha. Om Janaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Yuna Prachodaya. Om Shanti. 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 Om. Feeling peace with yourself, peace with others, peace, the greater intelligence, unseen forces, peace with it all. Slowly start to rub your thumbs over your fingertips. Feel your fingers and your toes. Press the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Slide it behind the upper teeth. Bringing the consciousness into the physical body. Stretch the arms up overhead, reaching one side longer than the other. Stretch the other side. To the chest. Bring to the right side. Yourself slowly be guided. Seat. Head arriving last. Pressing the palms to the heart. Feeling this merging of duality. This union, yoga, yuj in one. Surrendering and bowing the intellect of the mind to the wisdom of the heart. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Make a fist with the right hand, cover it with the left, press it below the belly button, and feel a subtle lift of the pelvic floor. Really letting yourself reground and reroot, and then come straight back.